There's a Sicha of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe speaks about people who do isurim b'mezid lahachas, on purpose, not by mistake. They know, and they do it to anger. Anger, I'm not sure to anger God or to anger a believer, because if there's no believer, who you're angering, right? If you're doing it alone, if you're doing it alone and no one's watching, you're not doing it lahachas, right? And the Rebbe continues and says it seems like benigid to the Rambam. The Rebbe says you should continue and keep trying. And it's a sicha with plishtim and wells. The Rebbe says there's nothing. We may think there's nothing left to dig. There's no more digging. There's nothing to dig. There's nothing. It's a lost cause. Lahachis, b'mezid, this, that. Keep on digging. The Rambam says, in Apikarsim, heretics, they had many different friends. Some were philosophers, and some of the Arab thinkers would say that all philosophers are non-believers, because philosophy it's a track of seichel. So you start with the track of seichel. Usually you go with seichel. You don't go with emunah, and you realize that it's beliefs people had. The Bubby had the belief that she has to have this and a holy writing on the wall, and the guy has to tie tefillin, and it's going to protect him. What else? Why else did people need gods for? Right? What was the whole story of the belief in the first place? Then it evolved to a religion of laws. Then how do you know who's the good guy? The guy who keeps the laws. The guy who doesn't keep the laws, there's do's and don't do's, so then he's the bad guy. And then there's a new concept that came in modern society where you could be nice to the guy who breaks the laws and he's going to change his mind later. It's just a belief, because you see how the Rebbe did a Chabad system where it took the place of conservative Judaism, which is you come and do what you want, and you don't have to have any intention of becoming more frum. It's only the only way to be successful with that is to have the Rabbanim believe that the people are on the way and they're learning, which is not the case. And the minute the Rav can't do something like do an intermarriage wedding or something that what he considers to be a standard, so the guy can go get a rabbi from somewhere else. So it's a no-brainer. The whole system doesn't do anything. And you see, for the past 50 years, there hasn't been any dream that the Rebbe had that never happened. People wanted to be religious, they were religious. And the biggest lahachis could have a kid that wants to be religious. The biggest tzaddik could have a kid that's not interested. The Rebbe uses the word getlichkeit. Getlichkeit is godliness, which is, that's a loaded, tricky word, and it's not from Torah. It comes from the church. Godliness is a Christian concept. What does that mean? Spirituality is shadim godliness, because shadim are spiritual, ghosts and demons and imaginations and dreams and visions, and like the Rebbe would have, he would have like his direct connection to the God that he imagined. It was never the God of Rav Shach. For 40 years, the Rebbe never had a hidur tshuva that maybe the consensus of the Torah world and the Paskim are right, and he shouldn't make a chilul Hashem. Never did he have that. So he's saying, look, whoever you are, you have a friend. Obviously, he's saying to you in the Sicha, you have a friend or a family member. Keep on trying. Be as annoying and persistent as possible, which is a good model for business and for religion, because you can see missionaries do it and they're successful because people give up. Even if a person will never believe in a God, if someone bothers him and he's consistent about it and it's a loved one, they'll give in. So he's using that tactic, which the Paskim didn't like it because A, it's not honest, B, Judaism doesn't believe that we are the only truth. They believe in other truths. That's why Judaism was never a missionizing religion. So there's other truths like Goyim that believe in the God of Abraham, Muslims and Christians, and Zoroasters believe in one God, but it's not the exact deity that the Jews are worshiping. It's Zoroaster was worshiping Atura Mazda. He was a prophet, and the God Atura Mazda, which is a pretty good God, he said slavery is illegal from the beginning. He didn't change his mind like in the times of Chazal, like Yudke Vavke did. he said that was so very interesting, and that religion gave Judaism the concept of night, dark, and versus the good versus evil, dark versus light. So the Rebbe says, al pi seichel, you think you shouldn't continue bothering the guy, but then the Rebbe says keep on harassing, right, or nudging, or whatever means that is dishonest, because you already know that this person, it's not that he doesn't believe, it's that the guy's he's living a fulfilled life in another way, and I'm sure the person is nice, and if the person if he